When I thought about what to do to speak about today, I thought about Advent because I was curious about Advent. I've heard of it. I'd been to services where the candles were lit for Advent. I bought my children Advent calendars every year where they got a surprise picture of a toy every day from December 1st until December 24th. But I didn't really actually know what Advent was all about. I was pretty sure it wasn't about those calendars. So I thought, what better way to learn than to commit to do a sermon about it? So here I am with Advent information for you. And I tell you, I started out quite ignorant. I did not grow up with this tradition. So I let the worship committee know my topic and sent them a blurb for the sermon. Jan LaRock, where are you? Bless you, wrote back and asked, which candle are you going to be lighting in your service in December? What? That confused me. After all, I was going to light the Advent candles. And I thought, are there some other ones I don't know about? Jan wrote back saying, I wrote to her, I don't know what you mean by that. Now Jan, in the meantime, must have been thinking, oh, good grief. Don't you know how the Advent candles work? But she politely said to me, well, there are 4 of them: hope, peace, joy, and love. Which ones are you going to be lighting? Ah, I thought, you're kidding. They have names? I'm getting closer to understanding this Advent thing. And then I started to research it, and I found out that Advent is like a Hallmark holiday. I mean, one of the holidays that they just made up and made into a holiday, like Father's Day, Grandparents' Day, Sibling Day, etc. And now Advent Day. But it's not actually a day. It's 4 weeks, or at least 4 Sundays. Or in some places, it's 9 weeks. In some places, it's 6. And in some churches, because there's no reference to Advent in the scriptures, it doesn't even exist. So truly, so much of what I read was so contradictory. I was like, well, which is the right answer? I kept looking for some consistency. There are 4 candles, or sometimes 5. There are purple candles and blue candles, and always 1 pink candle, except when they are all white. For some, the 3 purple blue candles represent seriousness, and the pink candle represents joy. So just forget about that hope, peace, and love part. It's a lot about seriousness and a little bit of joy thrown in. However, some churches, like all of the Catholic churches, do not allow blue candles at all because blue is for the Virgin Mary. Evidently, there are colors for Jesus and colors for Mary. I did not know this. Other churches don't care about the colors at all. In the meantime, some faiths give the candles names, like Unitarian Universalists. We've named them hope, peace, joy, and love. In other faiths, they are named expectation, anticipation, and yearning. Or they have no names at all. All the candles represent waiting. Waiting for what, you might ask? Some are waiting for Christmas to arrive to celebrate the birth of Christ, while others use Advent as waiting for the second coming of Christ. One source told me, and this is a true story, Advent was for the anticipation of Jesus, and I quote, coming through the clouds on Christmas Day to judge everyone on earth. That's their definition of Advent. And then there are more crazy rules. In many churches, singing Christmas carols during the Advent is forbidden. Those do not begin until Christmas Eve, because during Advent, you're supposed to be yearning at the very least. But if you are very devout, you may throw in fasting and abstinence as well. Other churches sing Christmas carols all 4 of the Sundays of Advent. So, clear as mud, right? There are so many different ways people celebrate Advent. My conclusion has been that Advent is a little bit Unitarian Universalist. That is, you are free to seek your own truth and meaning of this ritual. Take what you like, leave the rest. Make it greatly meaningful or not at all. All are the right answers, and all are acceptable ways of understanding Advent. So here, I would like to share with you some of the truth and meaning I found in the Advent ritual. First of all, Advent is a ritual, and there's something sacred in rituals. It's the ritual itself, the sameness, the order of its steps, the predictability that makes us comforted. So I certainly want to think of the ritual of lighting the candles on the 4 Sundays before Christmas as sacred. And with any ritual, it gives us pause. We have to slow down enough to get quiet and connect to the ritual of lighting these candles. Actually, I think that the first lesson of Advent is that, to get quiet, that among the hustle and bustle of the season of Christmas, the agonizing over gift selections, sending cards, increased traffic, crowded malls, no parking spaces, parties to go to, baking to do, wrapping, sending, and just all the hurried hurry that happens the 4 weeks before Christmas. Amongst it all is the ritual of Advent. It slows us down. It says, stop. Remember that as we light these candles, remember the light. Remember what the season is about, spreading hope, peace, joy, and love. And we do this by spreading our own light. As these candles shine, let your light shine as well. To do that, to shine our light into the world, we have to be willing to shine our light into dark places too, at least sometimes. We have to be willing to see the lonely, depressed, and overwhelmed people this holiday season. See the signs around their necks that say, I am starving for love. Give me just a little bit of love. They may be seated right next to you in the pew right now. See them. See who you're sitting next to. Give them a smile, a hug, a conversation, or maybe a warm lunch. Look them in the eyes and shine your light right into them. I want to tell you the story of the rabbi's gift. There once was a rabbi who lived in a hut in the woods, right across the way from a monastery. He had watched the monastery fall upon hard times, so much so that it was a dying order. Only 5 monks remained, all over 70 years old, the abbot and 4 others. As the abbot agonized over the imminent death of his order, it occurred to him to visit the rabbi and ask him if by some possible chance he could offer any advice that might save his monastery. The rabbi welcomed the abbot at his hut, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. I know how it is, he exclaimed. The spirit has gone out of the people. It is the same in my synagogue. So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. Then they read parts of the Torah and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. They embraced each other. It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years, the abbot said, but I have still failed in my purpose for coming. Is there nothing you can tell me, no piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order? No, I'm sorry, said the rabbi. I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you. When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around him to ask, "What did the rabbi say?" "Well, he said he couldn't help. But then, just as I was leaving, he said something cryptic, that the Messiah is one of us." I don't know what he meant. In the days that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. The Messiah is one of us? Could it possibly have meant one of us monks here at this monastery? If that's the case, which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he probably meant Father Abbot. He has been our leader for more than a generation. On the other hand, it might be Brother Thomas. Certainly, Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. Certainly, he could not have meant Brother Eldred. Eldred gets crotchety at times. But come to think of it, even though he is a thorn in people's sides, he is virtually always right, often very right, and makes us think. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Eldred, but surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then, almost mysteriously, he is a gift for somehow always showing up when you need him. He just magically appears right by your side. Maybe Philip is the Messiah. Of course, I knew the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't have possibly meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did, supposing I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me, don't pick me. I couldn't be that much for you, or could I? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect on the off chance that one of them might be the Messiah. And on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect as well. Because the forest in which the monastery was situated was beautiful, it happened that people still occasionally came to visit to picnic on its lawn. As they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed this feeling of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to radiate out from them into the air. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery, more frequently to picnic, to play, or to pray. They began to bring their friends to show them this lovely place, and their friends brought their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more to the older monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them, then another and another. So within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order, thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality that we each have. So what if we approached each person we encounter as the possible Messiah? Even if you don't believe in the Messiah, believe in the concept. Don't get stuck on that word. What if we treated everyone as if they were special and they were the Messiah? I was in the post office the other day, and an Asian immigrant went to the counter, and the worker took his package claim slip, looked it over, and said, about as rudely as possible, "We're not even your station." The man looked confused. He said respectfully in broken English, "Please, where is my station?" The clerk quickly rattled off the address. The man was silent as he yelled, and the clerk yelled, "Next in line." He looked up at her and he said, "Please, could you write it down for me?" And she did in disgust. She made him feel bad to take her time. It was very disturbing. I looked at the woman behind me who whispered, "Why can't she just be kind?" And I said, "Yes, she has no idea who that man is or what he has been through, what his life has been about, and what he stands for." And I thought to myself, yes, he could be the Messiah among us. But I admit I did not say that out loud because I'm pretty sure she would have thought I was one of those far right-wing crazies. But I did think it. If Jesus had walked in with the same slip, would she have treated him that same way? I'd be willing to bet not. What if we treated everyone with the respect and deference that we would give to Jesus Christ or Buddha or Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr.? As the Advent candles shine, let your light shine on everyone as if they were the Messiah. Because the last time I was here, it was 2 days after the Paris shooting. And now, yesterday, in Conroe, a man shot another man in the face during a rage event on the freeway. The day before, a 17-year-old driver is accused of hitting and killing a homeless man under a bridge on the freeway. The homeless man was sleeping under the bridge, and the 17-year-old driver lost control of the car and ran him over and killed him. So we still have all these hard things that we're going through. So think about it. The candle I lit today was the peace candle, or John lit for me. Thank you. Mother Teresa said it so eloquently, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. I think that's why we're having all these shootings. We have forgotten that we belong to each other. We have forgotten that we are indeed our brother's keeper. We have forgotten to shine our light into the dark places and to treat everyone as if they were the Messiah. The second takeaway for me in studying Advent is that it is a time of preparation. The word Advent is from the Latin word adventus, which means coming or arrival or adventure. Have you ever had a special guest come to see you? So special that you cleaned your entire house, every nook and cranny? I had 2 such guests come to my house, my 2 sons. For each one, I completely cleaned the baseboards, scrubbed the tile in the bathroom with a toothbrush, and very reverently hung up each little piece of clothing that they had to wear. I very meticulously and lovingly folded or hung each piece of clothing, getting everything ready and just right for their arrival. We can do this during Advent season as well. Prepare for the coming, for the arrival. I don't know who will come to you this year. I'm pretty sure it won't be Jesus through the clouds, but nonetheless, I think you should prepare your heart for the arrival. It's like when this first string quarterback is suddenly injured, the second string quarterback has to be ready at that moment. It's not like he can say, "Oh, I should have prepared for this." Nope, he has to be ready, and we have to be ready too, ready to see with our hearts, ready to see who needs our love, who needs our hugs. We have to become aware of the synchronicity of life, the chance encounters. Be open to them. Be prepared for them. See where kindness is needed, and the Advent candles offer us light so we can see. For example, when I speak somewhere, my preparation before I speak goes like this. I say to myself in meditation, I believe there is someone here in the audience today who needs to hear exactly what I will say. Please let that person hear the words that they need to hear. Then when I'm speaking, it could be to 50 people or 500 people. I don't know who that person is. So I talk to every single person in the audience because they might be that person who has come because I have something they need to hear. I spiritually prepare for their arrival, knowing they will come, and they always do. After every sermon I've ever given, somebody comes up to me and says, "Thank you. You were speaking right to me. You were speaking about me." Every time, every sermon, there's someone that gets touched. At the end of every sermon, like I was saying, they get touched. I want to end with a true story called The Invisible Thread. On one rainy afternoon on a crowded New York City street, 11-year-old Maurice met Laura. Maurice asked Laura for spare change because he was hungry, and something made Laura stop in her tracks, perhaps fate, and asked Maurice if she could take him to lunch. He said yes. Maurice and Laura went to lunch together and also bought ice cream cones and played video games. It was the beginning of an unlikely and magical friendship that changed both of their lives forever. An invisible thread is the true story of the bond between an 11-year-old boy and a busy sales executive. A heartwarming journey of hope, kindness, adventure, and love, and the power of fate to help us find our way. Sometimes we have a chance encounter with somebody who says what we need to hear, or ask us to help them with some project, and it changes our lives. Laura encourages people to look for their own invisible thread, connection, and highlights the importance of opening up your eyes and your heart to an opportunity when they come. Make a difference in this world, in the lives of others. Life is short. We have to start today. I, like Laura, encourage you to look for your own invisible thread connections, people that you might come upon and know that they need. I saw one picture of some cops giving a homeless man shoes. He was out in the winter. He had no shoes. He had very lightweight coat, and the other police officer gave him his coat, and they took him into Central Station and bought him food because he hadn't eaten for days. So those are invisible threads that connect me with you, that connect me with you, and let me know who you are, and I share who I am, and together we heal the world. Blessed be, and amen.